The alarm rang through the Seoul Deep Space Communications Center at 3 in the morning. Commander Dae-ho Kim rolled out of his small bed in the facility and ran to the main control room. His team was already there, staring at screens full of strange signals. "What do we have?" Dae-ho asked, still putting on his uniform jacket. "Something big, sir," said Technician Mi-young Park. "It's coming from outside our solar system. The signal is strong and it's trying to make contact." Dae-ho looked at the strange patterns on the screen. After 20 years of listening to space, this was the first time they had received a message from aliens. His hand shook a little as he picked up his coffee cup. "Can we understand it?" he asked. "The computer is working on it. The signal has some kind of translation program built in. It's learning our language from our old radio and TV broadcasts." For 3 hours they watched the computer work. Slowly, words began to form on the screen. The message was broken at first, but it got better as the alien computer learned more about human language. The final message made Dae-ho's blood run cold. "People of Earth, we are the Catherian Confederation. Our worlds are dying. A great enemy destroys everything we have built. We have heard stories about your kind. They say you come from a death world. They say you are warriors who cannot be defeated. Please help us. We will give you anything. Our children are dying." Dae-ho read the message 3 times. Then he called his boss in Seoul. Then his boss called the president. Within 6 hours, the message was on every news channel on Earth. The world went crazy. Some people were excited. Others were scared. But everyone agreed on one thing. Earth had to help. The government moved fast. They put together a small team to go to the Catherian Confederation. But they did not send the super soldiers the aliens expected. Captain Jinwoo Park was eating breakfast when his phone rang. He had been out of the military for 2 years, working as a scientist who studied life on other planets. He was good at his job, but he missed the action of being a soldier. "Jinwoo, we need you," said General Lee on the phone. "Pack your bags. You're going to space. Is this a joke?" Jinwoo asked. "No joke. Aliens need our help. You leave in 3 days." Dr. Soo-jin Lee was working in a hospital when she got the call. She had been a combat medic in the army before becoming a doctor. She knew how to save lives when bullets were flying and bombs were exploding. "They want me for what?" she asked her boss. "First contact mission. The aliens are at war. They need someone who can keep people alive in bad situations." Soo-jin looked at her quiet hospital room. She had saved many lives here, but this was different. This was history. "I'll do it," she said. Lieutenant Bo-ram Choi was training new soldiers when the orders came. She was an expert with explosives and had grown up near the border between North and South Korea. She knew how to fight and how to destroy things when fighting was not enough. "Space mission?" she asked when she read her orders. "Are they serious?" Her commanding officer nodded. "Dead serious. The president picked you himself." Sergeant Han Sol-yoon was climbing a mountain when his radio buzzed. He was a rescue specialist who saved people from dangerous places. Mountains, caves, burning buildings, he went where others could not go. "Yoon, get down here now," his boss said on the radio. "You're going off-world." "Off-world? What does that mean?" "It means you're going to save aliens instead of hikers." The 4 humans met for the first time at the launch site. None of them looked like the super warriors the aliens expected. Jinwoo was tall but thin with glasses and the careful hands of a scientist. Soo-jin was small and quiet, but her eyes were sharp and missed nothing. Bo-ram was strong and moved like a fighter, but she smiled and joked like a normal person. Han Sol was medium height with the tough build of someone who climbed mountains for a living. "So we're Earth's first contact team?" Jinwoo asked as they looked at their ship. The ship was not impressive. It was a cargo hauler that had been quickly changed to carry people instead of supplies. It had basic life support, some weapons, and a small medical bay. It looked like exactly what it was, something put together in a hurry. "The aliens are expecting super soldiers," Soo-jin said, reading the mission files. "They're getting us instead," Bo-ram said with a grin. "This should be interesting. At least the pay is good," Han Sol added. The trip to Catherian space took 2 weeks. During the journey, they learned what they could about their new allies. The Catherians were made of living crystal. They were tall, beautiful, and had built a peaceful civilization across 7 star systems. They were also dying. The enemy was called the Void Swarm. It was not one species but many, all controlled by something that consumed entire worlds. When the swarm finished with a planet, nothing was left but empty crystal formations. 3 worlds gone, Jinwoo said, reading the reports. 4 left, including their homeworld. What do they want us to do? Sujin asked. Win their war, Boram said simply. 4 people against an army that destroys worlds? Hansol shook his head. They really think we're super soldiers. When they arrived at the Catherian fleet, the aliens were waiting for them. General Zephyros came aboard their ship with several other Catherian officers. The aliens were beautiful, with skin that looked like colored glass and voices that sounded like music. General Zephyros looked at the 4 humans for a long moment. His expression went from hopeful to confused to disappointed. These are the legendary Deathworld warriors? He asked. These are humans, Jinwoo said carefully. We came to help, but you are so small and soft. Where are your weapons of great power? Where is your mighty armor? Boram patted the rifle on her back. This is our weapon. The general looked at the simple earth gun and his crystalline face showed doubt. This small device? Our beam weapons are far more advanced. I'm sure they are, Jinwoo said politely. The Catherians gave them quarters on the command ship, but it was clear they were disappointed. The humans could hear the aliens talking in their musical language, and the translation computers picked up words like primitive and hopeless. That night, the 4 humans sat in their small room and ate military food from Earth. They think we're useless, Sujin said. Maybe we are, Hansol said. Look at their ships. Look at their technology. What can we do that they can't? Jinwoo was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled. We can do what humans always do, he said. We can survive. The next morning, General Zephyros gave the humans a tour of the command ship. The Catherian technology was amazing. Their computers thought faster than anything on Earth. Their weapons could destroy mountains. Their ships moved through space like graceful dancers. Very impressive, Jinwoo said as they walked through the weapon control room. How are you losing the war? The general's crystalline face darkened. The Void Swarm learns from every battle. Each time we fight them, they become stronger. They steal our technology and use it against us. What about your soldiers? Sujin asked. Our warriors are brave, the general said, but his voice was not sure. They fight with honor. Boram watched a group of Catherian soldiers training. They moved in perfect formation, and their beam weapons hit targets with exact precision. But something was wrong. When the training computer showed images of Void Swarm creatures, some of the soldiers stepped back. They're scared, she whispered to Hansol. Can you blame them? Hansol whispered back. Look at those pictures. The Void Swarm creatures looked like nightmares. They were part machine, part living thing, and part something else. Some had too many teeth. Others had claws that could cut through metal. All of them looked hungry. After the tour, the general brought the humans to a meeting with the Catherian War Council. The council chamber was beautiful, with walls that glowed like rainbows and seats made of pure crystal. We have decided your role, General Zephyros announced. You will observe our final battle and provide advice. Your primitive weapons may offer some new ideas. Jinwoo felt insulted but kept his face calm. We'd like to study the enemy first. Do you have data on their attack patterns? Of course. The general waved his hand and a huge display showed information about Void Swarm attacks. As you can see, they always strike the same way. First they send scout ships. Then they attack with their main force. Finally, they land and consume everything. Jinwoo studied the patterns. After an hour, he saw something strange. They're not just attacking, he said. They're learning. Look here. On the second world, they changed their tactics after the first battle. On the third world, they knew exactly how to defeat your defenses. Yes, the general said sadly. This is why we are losing. But that also means they have a weakness, Jinwoo said. They need time to learn. If we can hit them with something they've never seen before, what could we show them that they have not seen? Asked Council Leader Vexandra, the eldest Catherian. They have consumed 3 civilizations. They know our technology. They don't know ours, Boram said with a smile. Meanwhile, Sujin was working in the medical bay, learning about Catherian biology. Dr. Wextalon, the chief medical officer, was teaching her about their crystal-based bodies. We do not feel pain as you understand it, Dr. Wextalon explained. Our bodies register damage, but it does not cause the same response. That's why your soldiers are afraid, Sujin realized. They don't have pain to tell them when to keep fighting through injury. I do not understand. Sujin thought about how to explain it. On Earth, soldiers often fight while hurt. Pain tells us we're damaged, but we can choose to ignore it. Your soldiers don't have that experience. When they see damage happening, they think they must stop. This is why you are called Deathworld warriors, Dr. Wextalon said with wonder. Your planet taught you to fight through suffering. Our planet tries to kill us every day, Sujin said simply. We learned to be stubborn. That evening, alarms rang through the ship. The Void Swarm had found them. Scout ships appeared on the edge of the system, moving fast toward the Catherian fleet. All hands to battle stations, General Zephyros announced. This is not a drill. The humans watched from the command center as Catherian ships moved to intercept the scouts. The battle was beautiful and terrible. Beam weapons lit up space like colored lightning. The Catherian ships moved in perfect formation. But something went wrong. A Void Swarm scout ship got through the defenses and rammed into a Catherian cruiser. The crash damaged both ships, but the Catherian ship was crippled. The crew began abandoning ship immediately. Why are they leaving? Boram asked. That ship can still fight. The hull is breached, General Zephyros said. The ship is lost. But the weapons still work, Hansol pointed out. The engines still work. Why not keep fighting? The general looked confused. The ship is damaged. It is no longer safe, Jinwoo understood. The Catherians were used to perfect technology and safe battles. When something went wrong, they gave up. They had never learned to fight with broken equipment and desperate plans. The scout battle ended with a Catherian victory, but barely. They had lost 3 ships to destroy 5 Void Swarm scouts. The math was bad. At this rate, we'll lose the main battle before it starts, Sujin said quietly. That night, Jinwoo called his team together in their quarters. We need to talk to the general, he said. Their battle plan won't work. What battle plan? Boram asked. All they do is fly in formation and hope their weapons are better. That's exactly the problem, Jinwoo said. They fight like everything will go perfectly. But war is chaos. You have to plan for things to go wrong. Think they'll listen? Hansol asked. Probably not, Sujin said. They think we're primitives. Then we need to show them what primitives can do, Jinwoo said. The next morning, Jinwoo requested a meeting with General Zephyros. The general agreed, but only because he was polite. He clearly thought the humans had nothing useful to say. General, your tactics are too rigid, Jinwoo said directly. The Void Swarm will adapt to them. Our tactics have been tested for centuries, the general replied. They are based on mathematical perfection. War isn't math, Boram said. War is ugly and random and cruel. You have to be ready for anything. What do you suggest? The general asked, sounding annoyed. Jinwoo explained his plan. It involved splitting the fleet, using damaged ships as weapons, and fighting in ways that the Catherians thought were insane. Absolutely not, General Zephyros said when Jinwoo finished. This plan requires our ships to take damage on purpose. It asks our crews to stay in dangerous situations. It is barbaric. It might work, Jinwoo said. It is not how civilized beings conduct war, the general said firmly. You will remain in your quarters during the battle. For your own safety. The humans returned to their room, frustrated but not surprised. They won't listen, Sujin said. Their choice, Jinwoo said. But we don't have to follow their orders. What do you mean? Hansol asked. I mean, we're not Catherian soldiers, Jinwoo said with a dangerous smile. We're humans, and humans don't always do what they're told. Outside their window, space was full of beautiful Catherian ships preparing for a perfect battle that they were going to lose. But 4 humans were making different plans, plans that the Void Swarm had never seen before. The main Void Swarm fleet arrived 3 days later. The humans watched from their locked quarters as hundreds of enemy ships appeared at the edge of the system. The swarm ships looked wrong, part metal, part flesh, part something that hurt to look at. Estimated enemy strength, 400 ships, the ship's computer announced. Catherian fleet strength, 230 ships. Not good odds, Hansol said quietly. The Catherians think their technology will make up the difference, Jinwoo said. But those swarm ships are built from 3 conquered civilizations. They have all the best technology, too. The battle began badly for the Catherians. Their perfect formations broke apart when the Void Swarm ships moved in unexpected ways. The enemy ships could change shape during battle, growing new weapons or armor as needed. Hull breach on Deck 7, the computer announced. All personnel evacuate to safe zones. They're losing, Sujin said as she watched the tactical display. The swarm is learning their patterns too fast. Time to go, Jinwoo said. Go where? Boram asked. We're locked in. Jinwoo smiled and pulled out a small device. Sujin isn't the only one who knows about locks. The door hissed open. In the hallway, Kitherian crew members were running toward escape pods. The beautiful crystal beings were panicking as their perfect ship took damage. This way, Hansol said, leading them toward the shuttle bay. I studied the ship plans. They moved through corridors full of frightened aliens. Emergency lights cast strange shadows on the crystal walls. The ship shook as enemy weapons hit the hull. In the shuttle bay, they found a small Kitherian scout ship. Jinwoo had studied the controls during their tour. The ship was designed for reconnaissance, not fighting, but it was fast and quiet. Where are we going? Sujin asked as Jinwoo started the engines. To the planet, Jinwoo said. While everyone's fighting up here, we're going to find out what the swarm really wants. The scout ship slipped away from the battle and headed for Kitharos Prime, the Kitherian homeworld. The planet was beautiful from space, blue oceans and silver cities that sparkled like jewels. But Hansol was looking at his scanner. I'm reading movement underground. Lots of movement. The swarm is already here, Jinwoo realized. While the fleet fights in space, they're doing something on the planet. They landed near one of the silver cities. The streets were empty. All the Kitherians had evacuated to underground shelters. But the humans could hear sounds coming from below ground. Scratching sounds. Digging sounds. The entrance to the tunnel system is this way, Hansol said, checking his map. I used to guide cave rescue missions. This is just a bigger cave. The tunnel entrance was hidden behind a waterfall. The water was warm and tasted strange, not like earth water. Inside the tunnel, they could hear the sounds getting louder. Stay close, Hansol whispered. These tunnels weren't made for humans. They're bigger than they need to be. They moved through crystal tunnels that glowed with soft light. The scratching sounds echoed from deep below. After an hour of climbing down, they saw the first void swarm creature. It was digging. Its claws could cut through solid crystal like it was clay. Behind it, more creatures were building something. The structure looked organic but also mechanical, tubes and wires growing like plants. What are they making? Sujin whispered. Jinwoo studied the structure with his portable scanner. The readings made his blood run cold. It's not a weapon, he said quietly. It's a drain. They're going to suck the energy out of the planet's core. How long do we have? Boram asked. Maybe 2 days, Jinwoo said. When the core dies, the whole system will collapse. All the planets, all the moons, everything. We have to warn the fleet, Sujin said. They're busy fighting, Hansol pointed out. Besides, what could they do? This thing is too deep underground for their ships to reach. Then we stop it ourselves, Boram said simply. 4 people against an army? Sujin asked. We've done worse, Jinwoo said. Remember the mission in Afghanistan? We held that bridge for 6 hours against a whole battalion. That was different, Sujin said. These aren't human soldiers. These are alien monsters. Monsters can die too, Boram said, checking her rifle. I brought plenty of bullets. They moved deeper into the tunnel system. The swarm creatures were everywhere, but they seemed focused on their work. The humans moved quietly, using skills learned in a dozen Earth conflicts. There, Jinwoo whispered, pointing ahead. That's the center. In a vast underground chamber, the humans saw the heart of the swarm operation. Hundreds of creatures were building a massive drilling device. But in the center was something else, a huge brain-like structure covered in wires and tubes. That's their command center, Jinwoo said. The thing controlling all of them? It's beautiful, Sujin said, and she was right. The brain glowed with soft colors that pulsed like a heartbeat. It looked almost peaceful. Beautiful things can be dangerous, Hansol said. Ask anyone who's been in an avalanche. As they watched, the brain thing spoke. Not with sound, but directly into their minds. Welcome, Deathworld creatures, it said. Its voice was calm and patient. We have been curious about you. It knows we're here, Boram said, raising her rifle. Of course we know, the brain said. We know everything about every creature in this system. Except you. You're interesting. What do you want? Jinwoo asked. We want to understand, the brain said. Every civilization we consume teaches us something new. The Kitherians taught us about beauty and art. The Velthari taught us about science. The Mordek taught us about war. And you murdered them all, Sujin said angrily. We preserved them, the brain corrected. They live forever now as part of us. Their knowledge, their memories, their dreams, all safe forever. That's not living, Jinwoo said. That's being a prisoner. What would you know about imprisonment? The brain asked. You come from a world that tries to kill you every moment. Your short lives are full of pain and struggle. We offer peace. We didn't ask for your peace, Boram said. The brain seemed to consider this. Around them, swarm creatures stopped working and turned to look at the humans. Hundreds of eyes and claws focused on 4 small figures. You are different, the brain said finally. The other species fought because they were afraid. You fight because you choose to fight. Even knowing you will lose, we might lose, Jinwoo said. But we might not. 4 creatures against thousands. The mathematics are clear. Math doesn't win wars, Han Sol said. People do. The brain pulsed brighter. Show us then. Show us what Deathworld warriors can do. The swarm creatures attacked, but they had never fought humans before. They expected the aliens to run when hurt, to give up when outnumbered, to surrender when the situation was hopeless. Humans don't do any of those things. Boram's rifle barked again and again, each shot finding its target. Sujin moved like a dancer, using her small size to dodge claws and teeth. Han Sol fought with the calm patience of someone who had faced avalanches and rock slides. Jinwoo used his scientist's mind to find weaknesses in alien anatomy. But there were too many enemies. For every creature they killed, 2 more took its place. The explosives, Jinwoo shouted over the noise of battle. Boram, can you bring down this whole chamber? Give me 5 minutes, Boram shouted back, pulling charges from her pack. We don't have 5 minutes, Sujin said, reloading her weapon. Then we make 5 minutes, Han Sol said. The 3 humans formed a circle around Boram as she worked. The swarm creatures pressed closer, but they couldn't break through. Every time one got close, human weapons sent it back. Done, Boram said finally. But we need to get out of here. This whole place is going to come down. What about the brain? Jinwoo asked. The brain was still watching them, still pulsing with calm light. You would destroy yourselves to stop us? If that's what it takes, Jinwoo said. Fascinating, the brain said. No other species has made this choice. They always try to save themselves first. We're not other species, Sujin said. We're humans. Boram triggered the explosives. The explosion shook the entire planet. Crystal tunnels collapsed as Boram's charges brought down half the swarm facility. The 4 humans ran through falling rocks and twisted metal, following Han Sol's memory of the tunnel system. Behind them, the brain thing screamed. Not with sound, but with pure mental anguish that made their heads hurt. The alien mind had never felt real pain before. This way, Han Sol shouted, leading them through a tunnel that was cracking apart. The surface is close. Sujin helped Jinwoo, who had been hurt by falling debris. Boram covered their escape, shooting at swarm creatures that tried to follow them. Her rifle was running low on ammunition. They burst out of the tunnels just as half the mountain collapsed behind them. In the distance, they could see their scout ship. But between them and the ship were dozens of swarm creatures that had been guarding the surface. I'm out of charges, Boram said, checking her pack. That was everything I brought. Did we stop them? Sujin asked. Jinwoo looked at his scanner. The drilling operation had stopped, but the energy readings were still wrong. We hurt them, but they're adapting. Give them 6 hours and they'll have the drill working again. Above them, the space battle was still raging. Catherian ships exploded like dying stars while swarm vessels grew new weapons and armor during the fight. We need to get back to the fleet, Jinwoo said. Warn them about the drill. How? Han Sol asked. We'll never make it through those creatures. That's when they heard the sound. A low rumble that grew louder and louder. A Catherian transport ship was landing nearby, its beautiful hull smoking from battle damage. General Zephyros himself stepped out, along with a squad of Catherian soldiers. The general's crystal face was cracked and his uniform was burned. What are you doing here? Jinwoo asked. Looking for you, the general said. We detected the explosion. Our sensors showed 4 human life signs at the center. You came to rescue us? Sujin asked, surprised. I came to understand, the general said. My soldiers saw you fight on our security cameras. They saw you charge into certain death without hesitation. They want to know how. It's complicated, Jinwoo said. We have time, the general said. My fleet is losing. In 2 hours we will all be dead or captured. Unless you have a miracle. Jinwoo looked at his friends. They were tired, hurt, and almost out of ammunition. But they were still fighting. We might have something, he said. But it's not pretty. Back on the command ship, Jinwoo explained what they had found underground. The Catherian War Council listened in horror as he described the drilling operation. If they drain our planet's core, the whole system dies, Council Leader Vexiandra said. Everything we have built, everyone we love, gone. How do we stop them? General Zephyros asked. We can't, Jinwoo said. Not with conventional weapons. The drill is too deep, too well protected. Then we surrender, the general said sadly. Perhaps the swarm will preserve our people as they promised. There's another way, Sujin said quietly. But you won't like it, she explained her plan. During their time in the Catherian medical bay, she had been working on something. She had taken samples of Earth bacteria and modified them using Catherian biolabs. It's a virus, she said, designed to attack the swarm's neural network. It won't kill them, but it will break their connection to the central brain. Biological warfare, General Zephyros said with disgust. This is barbaric. This is survival, Boram said firmly. Your pretty beam weapons didn't work. Your perfect tactics didn't work. Sometimes you have to fight dirty. We cannot use such weapons, Council Leader Vexandra said. We are a civilized people. Civilized people are about to be extinct people, Hansol said. Your choice. The argument went on for an hour. The Catherians couldn't accept using biological weapons. It went against everything they believed about honorable warfare. During the argument, the ship shook again. More Catherian vessels were being destroyed in the battle above. I'll do it, Sujin said finally. It's my virus. I'll deliver it. The delivery system requires someone to go back underground, Jinwoo said. Back to that brain thing. It's a suicide mission. I know, Sujin said calmly. I'm going with you, Boram said. Me too, Hansol said. This is insane, General Zephyros said. You're talking about walking into certain death. We're talking about saving your people, Jinwoo said. Isn't that worth something? The general was quiet for a long moment. Around them, his beautiful ship shook as more enemy weapons found their target. I don't understand you, he said finally. You have no obligation to us. You could escape in your ship and return to Earth. Why do you choose to die for strangers? Because someone has to, Sujin said simply. And we're the only ones crazy enough to try. This is what it means to be from a death world, Hansol added. Every day our planet tries to kill us. Earthquakes, storms, diseases, wild animals. We learned a long time ago that sometimes you have to face death to protect life. Your people are beautiful, Jinwoo said to the general. Your art, your music, your cities, they're amazing. The universe is better with Catherians in it. That's worth fighting for. Even if the fight kills you? The general asked. Especially then, Boram said with a grin. Any idiot can fight when they're going to win. It takes real courage to fight when you're going to lose. The general looked at each of them in turn. These strange, soft creatures from a world of constant danger. They looked so fragile compared to his crystal warriors. But they were volunteering for a mission that his own soldiers wouldn't attempt. What do you need? He asked finally. 2 hours later, the humans were back underground. The swarm had repaired most of the damage from Boram's explosives, but the tunnels were still unstable. Rocks fell constantly and the air smelled of alien machinery. The brain thing will be expecting us, Jinwoo said as they moved through the crystal passages. Good, Sujin said, checking her bio-containment unit. I want to talk to it. Talk? Boram asked. I thought we were here to poison it. We are, Sujin said. But first I want to understand it. Know your enemy, right? They reached the main chamber faster this time. The swarm creatures didn't try to stop them. Instead, they formed a corridor, guiding the humans toward the central brain. Welcome back, Deathworld warriors, the brain said as they approached. We wondered if you would return. We brought you something, Sujin said, holding up the bio-containment unit. We know what you carry, the brain said. A biological weapon. Crude but effective. You know, and you're not stopping us? Jinwoo asked, surprised. Why would we stop you? The brain asked. You have already taught us so much. We wish to learn more. Learn what? Sujin asked. Learn what makes Deathworld warriors choose death over surrender, the brain said. Learn what makes you fight for strangers who call you primitive. Learn what makes 4 small creatures believe they can defeat an army. The brain pulsed brighter. Use your weapon, Deathworld warrior. Show us what happens when an unstoppable force meets beings who refuse to be moved. Sujin looked at her friends. Hansol nodded. Boram grinned. Jinwoo gave her a thumbs up. For Earth, Sujin said, and released the virus into the chamber's air system. For the Catherians, Boram added, For everyone who can't fight for themselves, Han Sol said. For the right to choose your own ending, Jin Woo finished. The virus spread quickly through the chamber. The brain thing's screams echoed through every tunnel in the mountain. Above them, in space, every swarm ship suddenly stopped moving as the neural network collapsed. The 4 humans stood in the center of a dying alien hive and waited to see if their sacrifice had been enough. The brain thing's death scream went on for 10 minutes. All around the chamber, swarm creatures collapsed as their connection to the central mind was severed. Some tried to keep working, but without coordination they just wandered in circles. Is it dead? Boram asked, watching the brain's light fade. Not dead, Sujin said, reading her medical scanner, but disconnected. The virus broke the neural links. All the individual minds that were trapped inside are free now. As if to prove her point, some of the swarm creatures began to change. The mechanical parts fell away, revealing the original species underneath. A creature that looked like a giant butterfly spread wings that glowed with soft light. Another being, tall and thin with silver skin, stood up and looked around in wonder. We remember, the butterfly creature said in a voice like music. We were the Velthari. We built cities in the clouds of gas giants. I am Mordek, the silver being said. My people were warriors who fought with honor. More creatures were changing, throwing off the swarm modifications and remembering who they used to be. The chamber filled with voices in dozens of languages as freed minds spoke for the first time in years. You freed them, Jin Woo said to Sujin. The virus didn't just stop the swarm. It saved everyone they had captured. Above them, the space battle was ending. Without the brain to coordinate them, the swarm ships were easy targets for the Catherian fleet. But the humans weren't watching the victory. They were helping confused aliens remember their own names. How do we get out of here? Han Sol asked. This place is falling apart. The mountain was collapsing as the swarm machinery shut down. Tunnels were caving in and the air was getting hard to breathe. This way, said the Velthari butterfly creature. We remember a path to the surface. Follow us. The freed aliens led the humans through passages that were too small for the Catherian rescue teams. It took 2 hours to reach daylight, and by then the entire mountain had collapsed behind them. They emerged to find General Zephyros waiting with a medical team. The general's crystal face showed emotions that the humans had never seen before. The battle is won, he said simply. The swarm fleet is destroyed. Our worlds are safe. What about the planet's core? Jin Woo asked. Stable, the general said. When the brain died, the drilling stopped. Your sacrifice saved us all. Not all of us, Sujin said quietly. During the escape, Han Sol had been hit by falling rocks. The mountain rescue specialist who had saved so many people couldn't save himself. He had used his body to shield the others when the tunnel collapsed. They found his body 3 hours later, crushed under crystal that had taken 4 people to move. He was still smiling. The Catherian medical team wanted to put him in stasis, to preserve his body until Earth could claim it. But Sujin refused. He belongs here, she said. He died saving this world. Let him rest here. They buried Han Sol on a hill overlooking the silver city of Kitharos Prime. The Catherians built a monument made of living crystal that would grow more beautiful over time. The inscription was in both human and Catherian languages. Han Sol Yoon. He climbed mountains to save people. He climbed into hell to save a civilization. A week later, the 3 surviving humans stood in the Catherian council chamber. The beautiful aliens wanted to give them medals, money, and land. They offered to make the humans citizens of the Confederation with all the rights and privileges of their species. That's very kind, Jin Woo said. But we need to go home. Why? Council leader Vexandra asked. You could live here in comfort and safety. No more death world dangers. Earth isn't just a death world, Boram said. It's our death world. It made us who we are. Besides, Sujin added, someone needs to tell people what happened here. Other species might need help someday. You would do this again? General Zephyros asked. Face death for strangers? If we had to, Jinwoo said. The general was quiet for a moment. Then he said something that surprised them. I want to come with you. To Earth? Sujin asked. To wherever humans go when the galaxy needs help, the general said. My people have learned something from you. We have learned that sometimes the only way to preserve civilization is to risk everything for it. Earth's a dangerous place, Boram warned. Earthquakes, storms, wild animals. It might kill you. Then I will die learning, the general said. Better than living without purpose. The humans looked at each other. Then Jinwoo grinned. "Welcome to the team," he said. 6 months later, the Catherian Confederation sent an official message to Earth. They were joining the human government's new Impossible Missions Division, a group designed to help species that faced extinction-level threats. The message was broadcast across the galaxy. It told the story of 4 humans who had walked into hell and come out carrying the souls of 3 civilizations. It explained what Deathworld warriors really meant. Other species began to listen. A civilization of water-breathing aliens asked for help with a volcanic crisis. A species of peaceful traders needed protection from space pirates. A colony ship full of refugees was trapped in a cosmic storm. Each time, Earth sent the same thing: ordinary humans with extraordinary courage. Dr. Sujin Lee became the first human ambassador to the Galactic Council. She specialized in impossible medical situations and had saved 14 species from plagues that their own doctors couldn't cure. Lieutenant Bo-Ram Choi founded the Crazy Solutions Department, a military unit that solved problems by doing things that aliens thought were suicidal. Her motto was, "If it's stupid and it works, it's not stupid." Captain Jinwoo Park wrote the book, Fighting Smart, A Human Guide to Impossible Wars. It became required reading at every military academy in known space. And in the Catherian archives, scholars wrote a new entry about humans. They are not the strongest species. They are not the fastest or the smartest. But they are the only species that looks at impossible odds and says, "Let's try anyway." They are not fearless. They are terrified most of the time. But they choose to act despite their fear, and that makes them the most dangerous species in the galaxy. When you call on the stars for aid, sometimes they send angels, sometimes they send gods, but if you're very lucky, they send humans. And humans always find a way. Back on Earth in a small office in Seoul, Commander Dae-ho Kim still listened to signals from space, but now instead of waiting for contact, he was coordinating missions. The Deep Space Communication Center had become the headquarters for humanity's new role in the galaxy. Earth had become the place you called when hope was gone and miracles were needed. And every time, somehow ordinary humans made the impossible happen. The stars had never been safer.